Very old engines. Duck and Dukes. "But I keep telling you," said Duck, "there are no Dukes. They were fine and stately, but they've all been scrapped." Peter Sam goggled in horror. "This is dreadful," he wailed. "The Fin Controller said the owner said the Duke said he was coming to a centenary to open our extension round at length, and now he's scrapped, and Skarloey and Rheneas' birthday is spoiled. Oh dear, oh dear." He hustled away with his empty coaches to tell the bad news. "I think," said Skarloey, "the Duck was pulling your wheels." "No, Skarloey, he was quite serious." "He always jokes like that," chuckled Skarloey, but no one agreed, and he argued so loudly that the Fin Controller came to stop the noise. They told him about Duck, but he paid no attention. "Odd notes are for his nonsense now," he snapped. "There's a change in tomorrow's work. Skarloey, you will meet the Duke at 11 instead of 10:30, and he hurried away. "If there is a Duke," said Duncan, but they were all too tired to argue any more. They spent a gloomy night, but cheered up next morning when the cleaners greeted the birthday engines with an all-metal band. Drivers and firemen joined in, and even the Fin Controller banged the metal plate as loudly as anyone. The engines punctuated the music with their whistles. The owner laughed and held his ears. Presently he looked at his watch. "That's enough," he ordered. So Rusty, Sir Handel and Duncan went to find their coaches. Visitors crowded the big station. They wanted to go to places along the line to watch the celebrations. Peter, Sam and Rheneas had carefully practiced their part as passengers in Agnes, Ruth, Lucy, Jemima and Beatrice, and they all wore clothes of 1865. Rheneas had to pull them behind Peter Sam's television train, not too close, not too far away, so that the cameraman could take pictures. Visitors waved as they went by at last. They reached a small special sighting near the extension, but they settled down to wait. "Listen," said Peter Sam at last. "Here's Skarloey. They cheered him." "Good," answered Rheneas. "Perhaps that will make up for his disappointment over the Duke." Skarloey wasn't disappointed at all. "I've bought the Duke! I've bought the Duke!" he puffed and triumphantly came to a stand between the two trains. A distinguished-looking man who stepped out climbed into Skarloey's footplate and drove him on the new line round the lake and back again. Then, standing on Skarloey's front buffer beam, he said, "Ladies and gentlemen and engines, I have pleasure in declaring your lovely lakeside loop now open." Peter Sam couldn't bear it any longer. "Excuse me, sir, the Duke," he burst out. "Are you real?" There was shocked silence. The Duke just smiled. "Skarloey said you'll be listening to Duck," he answered. "Duck thinks Dukes were Great Western engines, but Dukes are really people. I'm happy to assure you'll be the same, but I am a real live Duke." "I'll give Duck Dukes," muttered Peter Sam, but he was sternly hushed. The Duke turned to the owner. "I congratulate you, sir, on your remarkable railway. It must be a record indeed, having 2 locomotives in regular service, and both 100 years old. Long life, then, and good running to Skarloey and Rheneas, your famous old engines." The cheering and clapping died away. "Speech!" shouted someone, and the cry was taken up. "Go on, Rheneas." But the owner, so rather nervously, the old engine began, "Thank you, your Grace, and everyone for your kind words. You've given us both a lovely 100th birthday. But, your Grace, Skarloey and I aren't the only engines we've got. There are twin brothers. Tallinn and Dolgok were built at the same time as us, so they are 100 too, and they're still at work. Their railway is at Tallinn in Wales. Please go and see the big race, and everybody, and wish them many happy returns from Skarloey and Rheneas, their little old twins."